trustless systems. We're talking. Hey, I'm back here on the breakdown, episode 31, hosted by me, David Gokshin, alongside co-hosting Haley Davis. The noise is in my ear, so I can't. Hold on one second. Let me make this lower. Again, David Gokshin alongside Haley Davis. We're talking about Bitcoin Part 3, and we're right now currently talking about DeFi. I think DeFi is special. I think we're still young and young in the terms of DeFi, and we have the ability to figure it out, the flaws of DeFi. I think we have the innovators within the space to figure it out. Uh, and I think within the next 2 to 3 years, it'll be fine. We just need to make sure that it works during all markets and not just when the market's bear. I mean bull. So that's what we're talking about right now. I'm doing these live streams alongside of the Twitter space, just so you guys can see my reaction, just so you can see that like, yo, half the time I'm not really mad when I'm speaking. It's more passion than actually being angry at all. So if you guys want to submit questions here as well, you can. Shout out to everybody who's supported the breakdown ever since ever since we've come out with it from Gakshi Media. We appreciate it. We've been averaging great numbers, and we'll continue to provide the education that you guys seek. GakshiMedia.com is where you can go ahead and catch a lot of educational material and obviously the latest news in crypto and Web3. Also, let me go ahead and talk about this real quick, which is Blockchain Futurist is happening in Canada, the largest event in Canada when it comes to blockchain. Um, August 8th for the ETH hackathon, and then August 9th and 10th for Futurist itself. I'll be on the panel. Russ McDonald will also be on the panel. There's going to be a lot of people on the panel. You have Vitalik that's going to be out there as well. So interesting event. If you're out in Canada, I definitely go ahead and vibe with it. A lot of knowledge will be dropped. A lot of alpha that you seek will be dropped out there. So really cool stuff happening, and more stuff to come from G Media side. We're doing a lot of things behind the scenes to elevate the company, and we're super stoked, man. And more content from me, man. More content from me, definitely 100%. I speak from my side right now. I'm just going to give what the people want, and it's raw and uncut. I'm not trying to fit in here. I'm just trying to be me and the best version of me. And back to the breakdown I go. And this sets off a mood, a stage on for you and the other party, not based on anybody else who said something about the other person because of their experience. So in our community, we have many projects, and the more we learn, the better we get at understanding how this space works. We can make decisions based on that, and I think that applies not just to this space, but in life as well. Always go in with a clear mind. Once you do that, you're going to open up a communication, a platform between the two parties that's going to be much different. And always, I believe in conflict resolution, right? I learned conflict resolution back in 2012 is when if you're a person just as aggressive as the other person and you stand tall and you stand strong on your beliefs, you're never going to get anything across the table. You're never going to reach an agreement. So the best thing is to listen and then see if that's something that's going to work out for you and its benefit, and put your best foot forward, right? Be the conflict resolution person where you say, yeah, I get it. So how about we put this in this perspective and look at it like not pointing fingers. Put in a, whenever you talk about anything, put that statement as relating to yourself and not saying, hey, you should be doing this, or this will be good for you. Say, I apply this to my own life, right? And this is how it has turned out. And that is basically saying, I'm being the change that I want to see in the world. So when this happens, you go to a room and you start talking, and you say, hey, I'm here to shake your hand, not to create borders, not to put up walls. That's when people start listening to you. And that's when you actually open your mind to learn and understand and make friends and make communities. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say. This is always a great space, David. Every time I come in here, the conversations get better and better. And I think you're helping the community, not just crypto-wise, but people in general, right? You help me, you give me a chance to come and speak my mind here, and I appreciate that. And everybody, thanks for hosting the space. I'm going to keep listening as much as I can, and then I got to head out for my hike. Thank you, guys. Good morning. Have a fantastic morning. Get out, even if it's for an hour or two. Get that energy, get that vitamin D in your body, and get elated in your life, right? Fill your life with joy, and then you bring that joy to others.
Thanks, 805. We appreciate you, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you, David. Ain't no mountains in Florida. I can't go hiking.
Yeah, you guys are just trying to survive in terms of staying a part of the United States of America, man. Just one hurricane, y'all have your own island over there, man. I'm actually rooting for that, bro. I'm rooting for that in California. Y'all already know how I feel on that. I'm just saying, man. Listen, Cali be calling for. Cali is always talking about, hey, we want to go ahead and be our own country here now. Well, can't wait for that next earthquake to hit. Might get your wish. I don't know. Hector's Hector's always on here. Yo, Hector, do you love that laughing button, bro? You just love sitting up here and just hitting the laughing button. What were you laughing about before, bro?
I think it was about the DeFi thing. Like DeFi is a must, and how it's truly revolutionary. I guess I don't see it that way. I think under collateralized loans are the biggest thing that people do today, and that has yet to be solved. Over collateralized loans are very easy because you can cut them off at any point that you deem fit, but the majority of the world doesn't have the money to buy things, or doesn't have the money, more than enough money to buy things. Only the richest people have ability to take out loans on assets that they own, but people trying to buy cars, trying to buy houses, that for the most part, they don't have the $50K to buy their car. That's why they go to the bank and they only put like $10,000 down or $5,000 down or whatever to get that car. So DeFi doesn't solve the biggest problems today. And you said it doesn't solve the biggest problems today? Yeah, and the biggest problems are under collateralized loans. Like people who don't have money that need money, that's why they get a loan. The people who have money can easily get a loan on anything. The people that need money, the people that don't have money that need money, the problem with today's existing financial structure, if I need a $200 loan or a $500 loan, right? A bank will not just simply give that to me because I hold Ethereum. A bank will not simply give that to me because I hold Bitcoin. I walk into a bank, I say, hey, I need a $1,000 loan. They're going to run my credit score. If my credit score is bad, I'm done. If the APR, even if I do find a lender, the APR is going to be through the roof. So on a $1,000 loan, I'll probably end up owing $3,000. Now, on the flip side, if I have $500 or $200 in Ethereum or whatever, I can take out a $200 loan, and through Aave, what's that other one? The C name? Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's pretty big.
Compound.
Yeah, Compound. There you go. I can take out a $200 loan through Compound. No questions asked. No documents being submitted. Nothing. I can do as long as I have the collateral, which is my Ether or my Bitcoin or my USD or whatever, to prove that it's in my wallet. They give it to me literally within 4 minutes, and then it's in there, and boom. That's what DeFi solves. It solves like that. You just made my point. I told you. My point, or I didn't make your point? No, you made. Sorry, one second.
I don't think we have an issue with DeFi. I think the issue is the gatekeeper economy that inflates housing and controls the inventory. That has nothing to do with DeFi.
If you're poor,
Take that argument to the politicians that are preventing building when we have all this crowd land and they inflate the home prices. Just in Toronto, we have a 643% increase in condo delistings because ain't nobody can afford that. Is that and then people have to learn to save their money. They don't save their money. You know what they do? They take their paycheck and they pay someone else. They pay McDonald's, they pay this, they pay that. We have a fundamental issue with people basically not paying themselves and making their money work for themselves.
But sorry, Matt, like I told you, under collateralized loans, like if you have $500 of Ethereum and you're trying to get the max you can get on Aave anyways, like 75% LTV. So if you have $1,000, make it simple, you can only get $750 on it, but you have to have the $1,000 in order to get the $750. That's like having a home and you're trying to get an equity line of credit because there's equity in the home. But what I'm saying is people who go buy a car, go buy things that they need with loans, they don't usually have the money to do it. So they can't put up collateral to then take out a percentage of that value to go do something else with it. So the majority of people do that. The majority of people don't have 50 grand of Ethereum and then take out $35,000 on Aave to go buy a car. Like that doesn't work that way. Like people don't have the 50 grand at all. So how do you give them a car?
I understand that. What I'm saying is, and I do understand that point, but the point I'm trying to say is the credit score, the identity check, if you want a mortgage, right? If you want a mortgage, you gotta have a good credit score. Then even if somebody gave you $50,000, the bank would want to know where you got that money from, and it would have to be dispersed like over 3 to 4 months. You can't just like have 50 grand in the bank and the bank don't know where that money came from or whatever. DeFi don't get into none of that. That's the murky water that DeFi doesn't get into.
It's not about murky water. It's because you're getting a 97% LTV. You're 97% of the value of whatever you're trying to buy. They're giving to you under the faith that you're going to pay them back in the future.
It shouldn't matter where the money comes from. And today's
I'm saying it doesn't matter.
There's a reason for that, bro. When you get a large sum of money like that, the bank wants to know where it came from because they want to make sure it's not drug money or anything like this, and that you can continue to make that mortgage payment over the next 10, 15 years.
Okay, but
that's why Aave doesn't do it. That's why Aave doesn't care. Because Aave doesn't have those risks.
This is where I make my point where, okay, Hector is on the mic right now, and he's saying that like DeFi is essentially trash without saying trash. Well, do we need DeFi? Do we need DeFi in this space? Does DeFi really work? And if you say that we do need DeFi, what issues does it have that we need to solve? What are the issues? Like these are the conversations that we should be having instead of DeFi is not necessary, not needed, and then there's nothing to say why. Well, why? Don't just say no. Tell me if you're gonna say no, then say why you're telling me no. We don't do that, and again falls back. You're gonna hear, like I said, I posted a video up last night of me jogging. Like you're gonna hear me talk about education every single day. It's going to be education. I'm going to be so repetitive with education that some of y'all might stop following me. But I'm not trying to fit in. I'm really not trying to fit in with this shit, man. You know what? You're gonna say something, bring answers with it.
Without any questions asked. What I'm saying is that they're not apples to apples comparisons because you need money to get any money on Aave. I can't go ask Aave for a loan if I have no money, if I have no asset. I can go to the bank right now and be, hey guys, I don't have much money. I want this house or I want this car. Can you help me out? And they'll be like, yeah, let me get some information on you so I understand that if you're willing to pay for this loan. That's how the process works today. You can't do that anywhere in crypto.
I think the point that Matt is making, and he's absolutely right, is that for many people, it's not necessarily not having any money at all. It's just the ability to borrow against what you already have.
So let me just give you some statistics as well. So, like, the average personal loan amount for people with bad credit ranges from like $4,000 to like $7,000, right? So if you have some Ethereum that you invested in, then all of a sudden, you blow your engine in your car, right? You can sell it, or you can borrow against it at a low interest rate using DeFi, right? There's value in that. The other thing is that if you have bad credit, your average APR is like crazy if you try to borrow from a bank. So it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. You can pay anywhere between 28 and 85% APR if you were to take out a personal loan from a bank. So some people have a small amount of savings. They put it into crypto, and being able to borrow against that is actually huge for them. If they end up with a medical bill, a missed car payment, they get fired from their job or whatever, and they need to make a mortgage payment or whatever.
If you have that much crypto, okay, that you can cover all this shit and be able to take out loans like this, and you have a bad credit score, you're doing something wrong.
Exactly. I think these aren't like, they're very two different arguments. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, if you have some sort of accident and you can still have this crypto that gives you the facility to borrow some against it, then like there's some huge discrepancy in your argument, because a person who has a lot of crypto doesn't have this inability to get money.
Guys, a lot of people have bad credit. A lot of people who don't have a lot of things buy crypto.
But they also don't have assets to do anything, is what I'm saying. Like, in most cases, they usually don't have assets to do anything. So we're speaking in averages, right?
Exactly.
So how does it work with a person who doesn't have access to a bank account? Is DeFi the solution?
What are the people trying to do? Like, if
No, I'm just saying people are not able to get access to a bank account.
Well,
I
I understand
the
what you're saying there, but if somebody doesn't have access to a bank account, are we saying that they don't have access to a phone as well? Because anybody has access to a phone or an internet connection has access to a bank.
a lot of people don't have access to. Are you speaking from a standpoint of living in the United States of America or a privileged country?
Absolutely.
Because that's what you're speaking of. You're not speaking of. You're definitely not speaking about somebody living in the Philippines, because a lot of people do not have. There you go. Like, a lot of people do not have phones. A lot of people don't have bank accounts either. Like, so how do they get bank accounts? Like, is DeFi not the solution to go ahead and get people into?
India is one of the biggest, the second largest population. India has the largest consumers of mobile devices, right? And every person, the rickshawala, the guy might not have money, but he can get a phone, access to a phone, because how they.
I got to tell you, there are people that are like do not have access or cannot get access to a bank account. And I'm not talking about in the United States of America. I'm just talking about in other sovereign countries. And it just makes no sense. This argument makes no sense about, not having DeFi. Like, DeFi is an answer. Now, is it perfect? No, but it is a solution to having somebody being able to be banked in some way. Like, it's just ridiculous, these arguments.
How they operate. India is a completely different beast of how they operate there. It's lawless, right? Even with laws, it's still lawless. So people can get a phone if they really want to. Mobile devices are cheap as hell because they don't just go buy the Nokia or the Samsung or the Apple phone. They have access to devices that you have never even heard of, like actual phones, companies that make devices. There are Indian companies that make phones. So when I'm speaking from knowledge, and it's fact, right? I'm not just pulling this out of my ASS. So when I tell you, the core problem in this is not that is DeFi good or is crypto good. The core problem is people not being educated in their younger years about what credit means, how to have credit. When I came to this country, just an example, a lot of people who come from third world countries, they do not at that age, right? This was 30 years ago.
This is a big point to touch on, and I touch on it every single day. Every single day that I come onto Twitter Spaces or I come onto just social media, I'm constantly talking about that like 9 out of 10 of us never had the privilege of learning anything about economics or finances. It's all happening on social media. It's all happening with people producing literature out there for you to go ahead and learn about it. The conversations, good conversations, are allowing you to learn about economics.
So in India, it's a different thing, right? They teach you to save.
Only the 1% know anything about economics and finances. But that's the way it's been set up. It's been set up that way. So we know enough. Like, I don't know how many times I have to repeat this. We just know enough to go ahead and get a job, which we think is a career that we will be happy with. Because at the end of the day, when we hit 65 or 67 or 70, whatever the new age is until you hit retirement, you have that Social Security, if Social Security will be around. You have a pension, you have a 401k. If you're lucky, you have an IRA as well. And you actually have more money than you did when you were actually working. But now you're 65, 70. Listen, I'm just saying you're not really youthful anymore. Like, you don't have that spring in your step. You've lost the step. And now you want to travel the world, you're dead tired. You're dead tired.
Comes from the father or the mother to the first.
Just disappointing. It just is disappointing that we didn't get the privilege. Now, listen. Now, I've heard that we are now putting more. We're now teaching kids about Bitcoin in school. Now we're teaching kids about Bitcoin in school. Great. It's a start. Congratulations. But that's just happening now. I mean, it's mind-boggling. I spoke about it on the breakdown today. It's mind-boggling that we are essentially we're changing the definition of a recession. Like, no, don't lie to us. We're good with the truth. Most people are really good with the truth. They don't need to be lied to. Like, it is what it is. You want a recession? Okay. But don't say like we are going to redefine what recession is. Like, that's crazy. That is crazy, man. And you know what? People will believe it. You know why people will believe it? Because it goes right back to it. Economics, finances, people don't understand it. And it's not because people are stupid, it was never taught to them. It's the same thing as, hey, I want to go drive a car, but I never drove one before. Doesn't make you an idiot. It was never taught to you.
A lot of people don't understand. We need to save. If I want to buy a car for $50,000, right? I'm not going to take out a credit or a loan for $50,000. I'm going to go in with $25,000, right? And get the lowest interest rates possible. And still have cash left over for other things. Smart investing starts from savings. So if you don't save from an early on age, then you're shit out of luck when you get older. And you learn the hard way. So basically, throw that in. I think we need to start with education, financial education in our school systems, how that works, because they let you out with the understanding of you need to do this, pay into the system. Break away from there, and we're good to go. Understanding the basics of economies work, how people with power make money every day, is the understanding of how you're going to live your life in a successful way and having wealth and being happy. Wealth is not happiness, but it brings you certain things that you can enjoy in life that not everybody gets to do. So on that note, I got to exit, guys. Thank you, David, for letting me speak. I'm out of breath, but I love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow again, and I will step off as speaker. Thank you. Love you.
Love you too, bro. 805. Have a good run out there today. Listen, my question is again, DeFi necessary? And I believe it is. Does it have flaws? Absolutely, but I think it's necessary. And I think we need to bring in the smartest minds to go ahead and fix the flaws that it has in order to make it work. because people do need it. Like again, we need to get away from the United States, we need to get away from Canada, and we need to get away from successful countries and look at countries that are currently pleading for this kind of shit. And like anybody that says that DeFi is not necessary just doesn't get it or hasn't lived in a country. I haven't listened. I'm not going to speak from that standpoint either. I haven't lived in the Philippines. I haven't lived in India. I haven't lived in Nigeria. Like I haven't lived in these places. But everything that I hear from the people that live there, they're like, give me this option. I need it. We need this option. So who are we to say like, no, we're not going to go ahead and create this something that could be a solution to give people a better life? We're not going to do this. We shouldn't do this.
But David, Hector, there's problems. There's problems right here. I mean, beyond being in another country. And first off, to kind of go back to the beginning of this, we're talking about different sectors of the financial system. Okay, if you're just looking at a basic checking savings transactional standpoint, that is kind of how this conversation started. Then we got into the kind of loan conversation in a different sector of finance, which I understand. But listen, I'm really happy for you. If you've never experienced any type of hardship in relation to things like your credit or wealth management or any of those aspects, like, guys, I know people whose credit has been completely destroyed but before they were the age of 18, 19, 20 years old because their families used them as fresh credit to finance, fund, or secure basic needs for their home, right? Like I'm talking some really basic needs here. So I think that there's a little bit of, I'm glad if you haven't had an experience like that, but I'm talking about individuals who have good jobs, were really doing something, talk about overcoming hardships, may have had money flowing in after a few years from that time, maybe even had some type of collateral, still couldn't get approved for homes despite making six-figure salaries because of the effects that had already been had on their credit, right? And that's the beauty of the idea of there being like a trustless system as far as not having to have the same type of approval when that was referring back to those things. So I have to stop us for a second as far as if you have some assets, if you have some type of money in crypto or whatever else, and you have bad credit, basically that was just deemed as being irresponsible. But there's a whole lot of life factors and circumstances that play into that, and it takes longer to repair or to fix something like that was created or handed down to you than it does for you to even overcome those circumstances and change those circumstances as far as income goes. So I'm glad you haven't experienced that.
But Haley, if that person has bad credit but they have a lot of crypto, they can liquidate that crypto to buy any real world asset or to finance any real world asset pretty easily. They do a high LTV, which is what's going to be required of them if they use DeFi. So there's no difference here in that sense that if they have a bad credit score, that can be easily fixed with a lot of money down in any loan situation. So
easily fixed on what type of time frame, Hector? Like you need to take into
Hi, Hector's wrong on this one because no matter the down payment that you want to go ahead and put down to go ahead and get yourself a house or something like that, like it don't matter, especially right now in the current economy. Like you're not getting it done. Like there have been people that have gone and try to get vehicles for themselves, and they would put down 50% and not get approved. And Haley made a point of some of these people didn't put themselves into a certain situation. Their family members went ahead and used their credit and put them into the situation. And now this person is literally out there, good person, smart and all, Some people would say that the person isn't smart by lending out their credit score, but you don't know the situation. But at the end of the day, smart and all has the money, but like, I mean, there's a $50,000 debt on their credit reports that they can't really pay off, and they need a vehicle, and they go in and like, no matter how much they put down, the bank just does not want to go ahead and approve that loan. So I mean, Hector, like, I think you're wrong on that, and I'm gonna tell you you're wrong on that on the breakdown. But I think you're absolutely wrong on that, and that's why, like, again, DeFi is important. DeFi is important because if you do have that collateral, if people do have 30% to put down, 50% to put down, I mean, they can do that. They can do that easily within DeFi as long as the DeFi protocol works, and get the required loan that they're seeking in order to get whatever they're looking to get. And I think that'll be big in this space too. I think the automotive industry will adapt to DeFi, and I think it'll slowly happen, or you'll hear more about it in mortgage lending. So
a high down payment in the traditional world, or a high a low LTV on the asset in the traditional world to offset the risk that they're.
I'm just gonna tell Hector, I think he hates everything. I don't think he likes anything.
Issue or thing that it's doing, because these things already exist today. If you didn't have DeFi,
a few things here. It can.
All right, Hector, let me ask you this question. I'm sorry, Haley. I just want to ask Hector this question. All right, when you go get your, when you try to open up a bank account, what do they do?
It was just like intake information. They asked for like $25, $20 to fund the account.
No. Besides that, what do they do when you try to open up a bank account in the United States of America?
I'm not sure what else they do. Like,
they run your credit. They run your credit. And if your credit isn't good, you don't get your bank account open.
I don't think you need to have great credit to open a bank.
Yes, you do. You cannot open up a credit. They run your credit. They see if you've ever.
What is the threshold of having to get denied for a?
So hold on. They run your credit. They also run to see if you've ever asked out on another or with another banking institution. So if you've ever had an overdraft and you left them with while owing $50 or whatnot, you're not getting a bank account. Period. You will have to find a credit union out there that is willing to just like give you a bank account to go ahead and get you back in good graces. But you will never be able to go ahead and bank with the big institutions.
No, I don't think people run your credit, because like,
they run your credit. I'm telling you, they run your credit.
Open bank accounts everywhere. Like I have bank accounts in multiple banks.
They run your credit in the United States of America. I'm not making this up, Hector. I'm telling you.
I literally don't have any credit pulls or anything on bank accounts.
It's soft pulls. It's not hard pulls.
It's not a hard inquiry. Hector, they do it.
No, they probably maybe they check like.
No, they check your credit. I'm telling you.
You've never had to worry about this, honestly. I'm just gonna be, and I'm happy for you, truthfully. I really am. But like,
just to go ahead and state this, when you open up a bank account, they run your credit. They do a soft pull, but they do run your credit in order to give you a bank account. And if they run your credit and they see that, hey, hold up, you have a $50 balance with Chase and you're trying to come over here to Wells Fargo, not happening. They will not open up an account. They will not. Unless somebody goes ahead and really, like, they send it up to upper management and say, okay, we'll go ahead and let this slide.
Opened one a month ago for a new business that was not questioned, from a new bank was not questioned. Like I don't necessarily agree that this is a thing.
Hector, like, you can look it up, you can Google it. Like, I personally know, like, they will run your credit because I've opened up bank accounts and there is a soft pull, that is a soft inquiry that is done by the bank to make sure that you are a very classy individual and you are deserving of a bank account in which you will go ahead and pay the bank $25 per month to go ahead and maintenance. while they take your money, your hard-earned money, and they trade it, and they don't give you commission on it at the end of the month. It is reality, and that's why DeFi is an option for those that cannot get a bank account. It is. It is an option. Now, does it have flaws? Absolutely. We've seen them. But if we were to fix these flaws, which I think they can be fixed by some of the smartest individuals in this space, again, our innovators that we should depend on, our talent, if they can go ahead and fix the flaws where this can work in bear markets and in bull markets, what is the problem? That's really my question.
Sorry, I'd like to just say something.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so first of all, both David and Haley, you guys made some great points. Haley, I liked your point around the tax implications of selling your crypto to pay your debt. Hector, you also make a great point. I don't think that DeFi necessarily solves the under collateralized loan issue, but it definitely does solve issues with people who, maybe dollar cost average into Bitcoin, don't make a lot of money, and then have some sort of, debt, unplanned debt that happens, and they need to pay it off, right? Like, sure, they could sell it, but a lot of people don't make a lot of money. I think like 60% of Americans live like paycheck to paycheck. So they view dollar cost averaging into crypto as an opportunity to get out of their current situation, right? So saying like, oh well, they can just go to a bank and do that. I mean, not really. They can take out a personal loan, pay a crazy interest rate on it, or they can just borrow against their crypto, pay less, and not have to worry about getting approval from a bank and getting ripped off with interest. So I think there's a need for both, obviously, and just you make a fine point around under collateralization, but there's definitely a world and use case around over collateralized loans.
So I checked Chase and I checked Wells Fargo. Both, they say all you need is a form of ID, and that's the only thing you need to open it.
Hector. So I'm in the auto industry, and even in the auto industry, just somebody that comes in to service their cars and they have a loan, you can actually do a soft inquiry and not know, because it's totally legal when you're in the system. I mean, you can do a soft pull and stuff like that, and it doesn't affect your credit or whatnot. But based on that, you can get payoffs and things like that as far as information. So there's definitely the bank is definitely going to do a soft pull on your credit no matter what.
And then to say that there's a soft pull that might happen, you're saying it's prohibiting people from getting a bank account.
Absolutely, 100%, Hector.
No, because there's like literally people. Someone just wrote me right now. Like I was a foreigner from a different country, came here, had no credit history, and I opened a bank account as a student. So those people are literally like, there's a lot of people who do that. There's foreign exchange people.
Okay, Hector, you're talking about somebody that has no history and Hold on. So I'll break it down for you. You're talking about somebody who's a student keyword, because there are student bank accounts, and coming over with a clean history. Yes, they will go ahead and open an account for that person. Period. Student being the keyword student.
Yes, that's extremely important, because that is how a lot of those accounts get worked around. And so even if they don't have to give you any type of a warning, essentially, if it's within the terms of their operational system to do a soft pull, and even if they don't prevent you from getting an account, they might be like, oh, we'll bank you, but you're going to pay this fee every month, and your fees for all of these other things are going to be higher. And then, of course, that doesn't even get into the fact that of how that.
I don't understand. Sorry, I just don't understand how.
I'm going to finish talking though. But then that doesn't even get into the.
Hector, you don't have to be right on everything. You don't have to be right on everything. It really is a thing. Like, even like Hector just made a point about somebody writing to him and saying that like a guy who was foreign to the United States of America came here as a student and had no problem opening up a bank account. Yes, there are student programs, just like there are student or foreign business professional programs to get an automotive vehicle. But there is a process that you have to go through in order to obtain it. Like they set it up in certain. They present it and they make sure that all the checks are checked off, because God forbid you go ahead and do or try to run away, there is somebody they can go ahead and go to, like a cosigner, to make sure they can get back their money.
The reason it's called credit rating is because it's your ability to how you're looked and perceived on credit. Like whether other people will
If he's going to talk about credit here, if we're going to talk about credit, I am going to FICO you up. FICO you up. See, instead of saying the other word, I'm a FICO you up.
Whatever. That doesn't mean you're getting any lending. You're not getting any credit against anything that's a product of the bank. So I don't understand how a bank would judge you on a credit history when all you're going to do is give them money and essentially allow them to make more decisions on more lending and more stuff that they do as products, because like that doesn't reconcile at all. Like there's no
Because they're managing your account, Hector, and you might cost them money. Like if you go overdraft and you owe them money and you have thousands of accounts that do the same thing, you're costing the bank money. The bank don't lose money. The bank likes making money. So like they don't need you if you're going to just put $50 into an account. They don't need your $50. They want the 50 grand, the 100 grand. Like they will maybe turn a blind eye if you're going to put $5 million into an account. They'll say, okay, you know what? We're not going to look at that. We're not going to look at the $74 he owes to Chase because he went, overdraft and then he left and I don't know what happened. They might have had an anchor man type of fight over there, but we're going to take it on here because he got $5 million plus. So we're going to take it, get the personal banker out here. Let's do this. Like, but that's not going to happen for some regular person that doesn't have that kind of money that walks in.
Chase Bank right now and ask them, I have zero credit. I have terrible credit.
You know how easy this is, Hector? You can go ahead and run your own credit with FICO, myfico.com, and pull up your FICO scores and then look at your history. And you can go ahead and see if you did indeed open up bank accounts like you've stated. You will see the history of Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America on that report checking your credit. But it's not going to ding your score. It's not going to hurt your score. It's there. They will look into your account. They will look into you as an individual to make sure they are bringing on somebody who is not going to fuck them in the end. And period, said and done. That is fact. That is straight up fact. I'm telling you, that is a fact. Like there is no way. Like I know you want to win every argument. There is no way you're winning this one. I'm telling you right now, zero chance of winning this.
I'm gonna call right now and I'm gonna record it.
That's fine. Record it. They won't tell you. They run it as soon as you submit an application.
No, I'll take it.
Hector, it's a known thing. It's called a check system that most corporations. You have to remember, a bank is a business. At the end of the day, they don't want to bring on liability, no matter who you are. Especially like you said, your example, you're bringing $50, but you bring essentially all this liability. So a check system is essentially like an internal report system that the banks use, and they check for things like history of involuntary account closures, bounced checks, overdrafts, unpaid negative balances, account, card, or ATM abuse, suspected fraud or identity theft, number of accounts applied for.
This is what happens when people just try to win. Don't win. Open up your ears and learn. Like we all do it. We all try to learn. I learn. Like open up.
Again, it's still a history, and it can impact your credit.
That's a different thing, though. You guys are arguing that it's a credit check and a credit.
It is a credit check. It is a soft pull on your credit, so that is a credit check.
No, he just literally went.
Okay, all right. Let me ask you a question. What is a soft pull?
Well, one that doesn't affect your credit.
What is it though?
Well, I don't actually know what a soft pull is. I just know that when your credit gets ran,
it essentially is ran. Like it is a hard pull literally pulls the entire file and you get that ding. A soft pull is essentially the same thing. They get to go ahead and look at your credit score. They see your credit score. I will go to the grave on this one. Like this is not, and I hate winning, but this is a W. This is an L for you. This is a W.
Even the light company, a utility company, will do a soft pull to see if you qualify.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Here you go. Here's the perfect one. Ready? I just thought about this because I am potentially changing phone carriers. Every phone carrier runs your credit. That's it. Argument done. No. Because I'm just showing you, like, everybody runs your credit, including the banking system. They run your credit, especially the banks, to make sure that you are not a liability, like somebody just said. Period. Like, they don't want liabilities, they want assets. You like.
Yes, it is, and you want to know why? I'm gonna give you an example. Because of the nature of the traditional financial system, you can cause inaccurate settlements by using your debit card at some locations, not 100% of them, but you can overdraft that bank, right? Costing them money, even if it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, $100. They want every dime of it. And if you have a history of ever doing that before, not getting into loan products at all, like if you have that history or that potential or those problems, they will not bank you. And if you don't think that's true, tell me, why on earth are there so many people in America who can't get banked and then use those alternative systems like PayPal, Cash App, etc.?
Crazy.
The reasons for those entire financial institutions that we have is because of this scenario. So yeah, listen, I know, Hector, a lot of times you make a lot of good arguments, but this one is not it.
Haley, I literally know people who are illegal in this country who have bank accounts.
They didn't even have a credit history, probably.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So if they have
you-
no credit, then how are they deemed worthy?
Because no credit is better than bad credit, and that's a common. That one's a common fact.
Yeah, that is a Hector. That is actually fact. Like, you can have no credit is actually, well, it can go both ways. But somebody will buy that paper if you have no credit. Somebody will buy that paper.
And you guys, also illegals, people that are illegal in this country, they also sell Social Security cards. And coming from the banking system for as many years as I did, Hector, they do absolutely run information. It's called check systems that they typically run you through, but they are looking for you owing money. And even credit cards, your credit cards actually run your credit monthly, if not, monthly, every other month, because they want to try and give you more credit, basically. But that is true, and then they run you through an OFAC system as well. So if you are coming from another country, they're going to run you through OFAC. So they do absolutely do that. Just
Right.
so you know.
I'm not saying that is not a credit report.
Have you ever worked for a bank, Hector?
No, I'm asking, is check systems a credit report? Is it FICO?
No, check systems isn't a credit report, no.
Exactly. So then what is
your actual credit reports are TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Those are the credit.
Right. Exactly.
bureaus.
So so if you had a terrible rating on all those, but your check systems is fine, or maybe you don't have a check system report, like maybe you're brand new, like we're saying, or it's bad, or like it's good, because the only reason it would be bad.
I'm waiting.
If you've done something unlawful, right?
I know, Dylan. Dylan Game says sounds like there's no winning there. There's not. It's like I'm telling you, like he doesn't get it, because it's more of a mindset of, I'm going to win the argument based on no facts right now. When just sit back and listen and understand that, like, yo, like, they do run your credit. They will pull it. Not a hard pull, but it's a soft pull, but they will pull it.
They want to sell that to you. So yes, they are going to pull your credit.
They want to do a lot of stuff, but I'm saying
They don't need your permission to do it. They do not need your permission to do it. They will do it. I'm telling you, that's how it's done.
They will do what? Sorry.
They will pull your credit.
Right. What I'm saying is, like, so the question that was put, this is like for the whole DeFi thing, was like, if in the event that you have bad credit, right? You have bad credit rating because all three of the major guys said you suck, right? And you're 300 or whatever.
Sure.
You go to a bank account. You go to a bank. You say, "Hey, I want to open a bank account today." And people are like the argument is you will be turned away because you have a rating that's 300, which is like the lowest you could possibly get. But
that isn't the lowest. 0 is the lowest. But
okay, sure, 0. You get 0. You have was saying that 0 would imply you have no credit, right?
No, it can imply that you have horrible credit. I used to pull people's credit all the time,
okay,
and
0.
they would
Let's say
actually
0.
they will not score. Their credit is that bad.
Okay, so say let's say they have 0 or 1 or whatever, really low.
Hector's just looking to go ahead and salvage this when like he's not listening, bro. Hector, I'm telling you right now, they will pull your shit, and if they see anything that's off, they are not opening up an account for you.
They could say, you know what, we're just gonna give you a savings account that you can just put money into with no overdraft protection. Like you go to 0, you're 0. Like you can't pull more than you have.
In the credit union world, yeah, we would open up a savings account for somebody and we would tag it or flag it, watch it. Absolutely.
So you can get one then.
You could get a savings account at the credit union I worked at, but you're generalizing all banks, all credit unions. Not all of them function the same. So you could absolutely walk into a place and they won't do anything for you.
I'm saying that's all you need, right? Like all you need is a
But you're trying to generalize and say all of the banking system works that way, and it doesn't. They can basically pick and choose if they give you an account or not.
Of course, anyone could, and any private entity could deny you because you look like they don't like you, right?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that some of them actually look at all of those factors, meaning your credit history, anything that they can pull on you, and they can choose to deny you for an account. That is absolute fact.
I know, but we're saying this deniability is complete.
I'm sorry. I know I asked you not to interrupt me, but Tammy just came with a lot of experience and eloquently explained the same things that we've been telling you. And listen, I want you to argue your points, but also we were talking about the fact that they don't have to bank you. They will pull this. Now you're changing the argument. I'm watching you change the argument to something else.
To what? I said the same thing. I said you told me that because if I have terrible credit, I cannot get a bank account. And Tammy just told me
will deny you that some banks will deny you as a customer and that you're generalizing all banks. She just said that, and instead of acknowledging the fact that there is a flaw,
I said some banks will turn you over for whatever the dumbest reason. Yes, I agree that could be the case. But I said,
can I tell you something else about not banks? You are making me feel like here's what's happening right now. Your inability to see the flaw in this conversation and slightly like in what your point was and just be accepting of some real knowledge that we are sharing with you right now, from a very like calm, collected place of trying to help you understand, kind of makes you less credible from all the other good arguments that you have here in this exact room and the spaces across here.
Haley,
right? Like it's now a pattern of behavior, and so now I realize there's no reasoning with you when you've decided something that you won't accept the flaw in your own story, and that's unfortunate.
Hector, I have to agree with Haley because observing you like for many weeks now, it just seems like as if you are, in fact, a Sith Lord. You deal in absolutes. There's no overturning what you want to hear.
No, I'm like literally. I can look at my DMs right now. There's a guy saying, "I work for one of the big three. You don't need any of this stuff. All you need is checks. Checks is not about credit reports."
This isn't now. I'm sorry, Tammy. Go for it.
I'm not trying to win this argument. Like I literally have never experienced this in my personal life.
Hector, can you pull up your credit report and look to see if Chase, Wells Fargo, because I don't know who you went ahead and bank with, if they went ahead and pulled your report, or you have a ding from any of those companies?
I know I have one just recently because I financed a car, so I know that.
Forget about the car. Go look at when you went ahead and opened up your account with whether it was Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and honestly, go ahead and look and see if there wasn't a soft pull done on your credit.
Bank of America is the only bank in the U.S. that doesn't pull your credit. You Bank of America and open a bank account. All the other banks ask you for stuff and they run your credit. Chase, Wells Fargo, any other bank. But Bank of America is the only one that you can just walk in and open a bank account.
Shoot, you gotta show me.
I know by experience, and I know friends that are illegal across the border, and like a week after they go into Bank of America and open a bank account.
That sucks.
There's the only bank in the U.S. that lets you open a bank account.
I mean,
they're gonna hit you with them $40 overdraft fees.
No, they don't let you overdraft. They don't let you anything. It's just like you don't have money, you can't do anything else. That's it. It's whatever money you put in, that's what you can spend.
Zeus, I don't want to disagree with Zeus, but I'm gonna have to disagree with you just because like that happens to be one of the institutions that I'm with, and I take privilege in my credit and DTI and all that good stuff. They went ahead and pulled, and okay, like that's their business. Like I can't go ahead and say anything to Bank of America, Chase, or Wells Fargo, whoever it is. Like, don't do that to me. Like they run a business. They don't want a liability. They don't want a liability. Listen, Hector, there at times you just have to like. I do it all the time. I try to learn from this kind of stuff. It's this is a learning thing. This is not like, hey, I gotta win this one, man.
David, I'm not trying to die on the hill of credit rating.
But you are.
No, I'm speaking from my experience that I've never dealt with this because in my
Because you're privileged. You're privileged to not.
Also, can I echo what Haley said yesterday though? Because Hector, like your experience is not the world's experience. Like it is an individual experience. You have this one perspective, and yet you cannot put yourself in other people's shoes or even hear anecdotal evidence from people who literally work in the industry to tell you like this is not how it is. You don't accept anything like that. Like you don't accept what's being presented to you in any fashion. That's why I said like you really do deal in absolutes. Like it's either what you believe or you don't. You're very like stark on how it has to be what I understand. Otherwise, it's not that, and all of you are wrong. Like that's what you present on a daily basis, and it's what people receive too. You know what I'm saying? Like if it wasn't, then these conversations wouldn't be happening the way they do. But like at some point, you got to go ahead and like be okay with being wrong, or just taking like the L in the conversation, not necessarily like this isn't an L in life here, bro. These are just conversations. So at times, just be like, okay, like maybe I am wrong on this, and I could like push on, but like you try to carry it and then try to find different.
Dylan says maybe he needs to talk to an expert on credit. I mean, like I've dealt with credit, and like I know how credit goes. Like I watch my credit all the time, myfico.com. I don't have no referral code, but like you go on there and it breaks everything down to you, man. Like it's real simple. The banks will go ahead and check. Look, you go ahead and try to get a house, your credit's being ran. You're trying to get a car, your credit's being ran. You try to go ahead and open up a bank account, your credit is being looked at. Period, said and done. There is no conversation. There is absolutely no conversation. They will look at your credit. You are a liability. Just remember that. Ain't nobody gonna give you credit if you're a liability.
That's not the way. Like you gotta like.
They don't care about your $50 either.
You want to go ahead and bring something technical. It's like, well, now that's over everybody else's head. So it's like you're always just trying to find these angles, and it's like you don't need to do that. Just
I don't even get angry. I'll tell you right now, I don't even get angry with Hector. I honestly don't. Like a lot of people get unraveled and like angry, but that's where you lose the argument. Like if a person can get you to the point of where you're angry within this conversation, then you're never going to get your point across. You just listen, notate, as I always have paper over there with a pen. You notate it, and then you hit back. But I'm ultimately here not trying to go for a win. I'm trying to learn something. You don't learn something though when you're trying to go after the win.
Beating this damn plunger topic. 1 + 1 = 2. People do background checks. God damn.
Prevent you from being able to do so would be if you were to have like a collect.
Are you serious? So hold on. He muted himself to the good part though. Yo, Hector, listen. It's
of course.
this.
Like
That's my fault because I'm like, you can't acknowledge anything. Okay, go ahead. Don't acknowledge anything anyone else says whenever they have a
Oh my God. Like, yo, honestly, like this is not the hill, bro. This is not the hill, man.
I literally just called the bank and they told me that.
Yeah, Hector, why don't you call? Here's your assignment. Why don't you call every bank and every credit union here in the U.S. and see if and let's just see if the answer is the same with everyone
Sure,
you call.
I'll
because I guarantee you
figure it out.
call.
Okay, I completely concede that could be the case, but I'm saying randomly, I opened to Chase, and that was not the case, and that's where that's my
Chase.
experience.
Oh, wait,
I bank with Chase. Yo, I bank with Chase. They pulled my they could tell you anything they want, man. We've also been told, hold on. We also been told that we are currently not in a recession, and they're redefining the word recession for us. Like we've been told a lot of things. They pull your motherfucking credit. I'm letting you know that right now. They pull, not hard pull. There's no lawsuit. When you sign that credit application to open up a bank account, you are giving them the ability to run or do a soft check, a background check on your ass. That is it. And goddamn well knowing you ain't reading that shit, nor am I. I am signing that shit. I am not staying. It's enough that you have to stay there 2 hours to open up a bank account. I am not staying there 4 or 5 hours to go ahead and read fine print. And I am not one of those people that are going to take the contract home and say, I'll be back and I'm going to read the fine print. I'm going to have my family, my cousins, my sisters. I'm going to have them all look into this. No. I'm opening up the bank account that day, and I know they're going to run it, and it's okay because I have nothing to worry about, right? My shit's legit. I'm good. But for those that are unbanked, some of them are unbanked for fucked up reasons, like having an overdraft of $5.42 that's sticking on them for the last 10 years. Some of them can't get credit cards because of that fact. Because of that fact, let's say they were with Chase and they're applying for a Chase card. Chase will find 15 years ago that they did not go ahead and pay for that overdraft fee that they owed Chase, so they're not getting a credit card, regardless if they have an 850 credit score and they make $200,000 a year.
My suggestion to you guys is when you open an account, if you do, check the signature card because it's all right there. It's all on the terms and conditions, and it's lengthy. But usually it's probably about 5 to 6 pages full, and guaranteed you'll find it in there.
That's thank you, Tammy. And I feel like the whole point was really proven. Rika, thank you. You said some really level-headed, caring things that, of course, Hector won't acknowledge or give any credit to. We haven't thrown anybody. It's like episode 31. We haven't thrown anybody off the stage. But listen, it won't even be David's fault. My patience is being tested by just the inability to be reasonable here. I'm going to let you know. Jess, please go ahead.
Reasonable.
No, that's not reasonable.
I literally told Tammy, we can do this. We can figure this out. Like, I literally called one bank and she said, let's call them. I'm like, okay, fine.
There's nothing to figure out. Institutions check your history, and guess what? You can't go to the bank at 3 a.m. Like, you're not going to go to the bank and
that's a separate argument, though. No one's arguing that.
Gentlemen,
no, but you just keep moving. You just keep circle jerking around the same shit. No one cares, bro.
Jess, please go ahead.
Wow, fun Wednesday. Glad to see the breakdown get a little spicy. But yeah, I think you guys are all saying, you're all saying the same thing. Whether it's this check system or a credit check, I mean, we can't speak for every banking system, right? But we're all saying the same thing. The banks are going to do something to screen you, whether they're going to accept you or not, right? So we could get into semantics as to what specific system each bank uses. I don't think anybody here on the stage knows the system that every single bank uses, but I think we can both agree that the point that there's some type of approval process that you have to go through. And when we talk about DeFi, like DeFi is going to be the same thing. DeFi, you're going to have your on-chain credit to make sure you're trustworthy or that you're going to be able to pay back those funds. So I don't know how this conversation got here, but I think you
I appreciate it, Dylan. Dylan says, I love these spaces, though 99% of the conversations
I'd love to, and move on.
you guys have, I have nothing, I know nothing about, so I'm learning, but I also look into most things while you guys are speaking, which is a good thing. Always look in, doesn't matter who has a blue check mark, doesn't matter how many followers, make sure that you're looking in and checking, checking all these things that are being stated, because it just makes you that much better when you go into this space and you try to figure out what you're getting into or what you're currently in.
Anything illegal or fraudulent? Do you have any bad history with service providers in like the past 7 years? Did you make any false statements? Are you have any harm? Maybe they don't like the way you look to their employees. What bank accounts do you have that are associated to others? Are you going to provide your ID? Are you going to provide your tax assessment? Are you going to provide another form of ID? Are you going to have the time to come in when those hours are open? What if you were falsely incarcerated? What if you come from a history where you were a co-signer for someone and this was ruined? What if use whatever euphemism you want and cherry pick whatever bank you want to prove your argument, because at the end of the day, banks go through a traditional method, and many times they will not disclose, oh, I'm going to do a soft check, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. They'll just do it in the background because it doesn't negatively impact it. And so they'll just do it anyways. And you can call that a background check, you can call that a history, you can call it a screening. But if someone in 4 a.m. across the world has crypto and wants to use that somehow in some over-collateralized situation, that utility is there. And they don't have someone breathing above their neck, sitting for 2 hours, doing background checks, providing their birth certificate, their passport, being asked like 100 questions. So there's two different utilities. I don't think it's like over collateralized loan versus.
Don't worry. Like Hector isn't listening to this conversation right now. He's just literally on the phone with Chase, trying to figure out if his credit has been pulled, which there has no doubt about it. A soft pull was done. No doubt about it. Some guy said, "Well, KYC is done on you." Yeah, that's not the issue here. We know that. OFAC checks are done on you. We know that. But I get dinged, and it's not because of a credit card.
Is the bank checking my credit or not? Man, no, who cares? Man? Maybe this guy checks, maybe that guy doesn't check. But the reality is that they have a traditional system where you go through hoops and loops, and some people might not be able to. And guess what? What if you were a part of the Canadian rally where you were fighting for freedom rights and your bank was frozen? What are you going to do, Hector? Are you going to... Your bank is frozen. What now? Do you go get a loan? No, you're fucked. You're literally fucked.
There's no answer to that one. Hector, don't even attempt that. There's no answer to that.
Your bank is fucked. But what if you had you're using a bunch of DeFi wallets, you have some sort of option on the side, because then the government can't do anything.
Well, my question to you would be, how do you eat with DeFi wallets?
How do you eat with DeFi wallets? Well, I don't know. You could go talk to someone and be like, hey, I'll pay you somehow. I'll send you. Do you have a MetaMask wallet? Yeah, okay. I'll send you this. Okay, I'm going to buy some grub from you. You could still transact in an unconventional way. It might not be Walmart, right? It might not be Walmart.
I think the point is that like the current way to be able to transact, if you're on a bank, you get your cash, you go to the store, you fill up a credit card, right? And then you're able to make.
I'm about to use a BSV analogy on him.
Offline, right?
Like I'm so close.
Or something, and without crypto being mainstream, like it's hard to us living in the U.S. just to be bankless and be just in crypto.
By the way, the breakdown Monday through Thursdays, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We did go overtime again. It's 11:54 a.m. on the East Coast. We'll keep the show going because it's interesting, but we'll definitely end it at 1 o'clock.
So, I think it's context is important. I'm not saying that there's no role from these under collateralized loans, but I do think that people are buying a lot of things they don't need with money they don't have. That's definitely its own issue. And hopefully moving forward, we can eliminate this gatekeeper economy and make things affordable. Because it goes back to what I said. Why is someone buying a $1.1 million condo, 1 bedroom in Toronto? Ain't nobody can afford that. And that's why 2,000 of them have been delisted.
I would have agreed
That's
that
not, that's
you
not
know,
a DeFi issue, and that's not a under collateralized issue. That's a totally separate issue.
I might have agreed with all these points that Hector might have had back in 2006 to 2007, where mortgages were given out to like people with no credit at all, people making like $15,000 a year, not even people just not even making any money on the books were getting a loan for like a mortgage for like $600,000. So like I might have been like, yeah, absolutely, they ain't checking shit. They're just giving out mortgages like fucking Snickers bars and shit. But like now, zero, like zero. Like you ain't getting shit.
It's true. They don't let you buy a home. Like here in Canada, you can't buy a home easily. The rates have skyrocketed. You need to put like a solid amount down. So you can do laughing emoji, but please go ahead.
But you're saying that now that the whole mortgage market is like destroyed for some reason. Like these rates are not like historical highs. Like these are normal. Like 8 years ago or something.
Forget about the rates, Hector. It has nothing to do with the rates. I'm talking about actually acquiring a mortgage. It's way harder than it. If we were talking before pre 2008, like we're going back 2005, 6, 7, 8. Like yeah, you were getting mortgage. Like strippers were getting mortgages. Like strippers who have nothing on the table, no pay stub. There was a story that ran on this. I forgot which newspaper. It was like she had like 3 houses. Like 3 houses. All it was like $2.2 million in mortgages.
The money was too easy. That's the point.
But it's not. But what I'm saying is there was no credit check. There was nothing. There was zero.
It was very, very, very lenient to get
lenient. That shit was like, yo, you could be a foreign exchange student and get.
No, exactly. I'm not saying it. I agree with you. I'm saying it was very easy to get mortgage back then, right? And
it was easy to get anything. You could have got a car. You could have got everything. It didn't matter.
That's a issue of the lenient thing. Now people are. I guess what Alex is saying is that it's too stringent. So what do you want?
What do you mean? What do I want? I'm telling you, like now it's impossible. It's impossible to go ahead and get like they're not just giving you shit anymore. They are checking you. They are making sure to do a thorough. They are like the TSA on your ass. Like if they smell something, like they are checking your ass. Like they are making sure that they are not bringing on any liabilities onto their company balance sheets.
Because they understood that maybe giving a person 3 homes is not a great idea. Maybe giving a person who can't.
But we were talking about what's happening now, and you're disagreeing with it. You're calling every bank in America to figure out. Like we're just telling you that it is the truth. It is the truth. Like if we were having this conversation in 2007, like you win.
I win what?
You win this whole argument. That like this argument, obviously everything we're saying is not getting through to you, but you would win this argument in 2007. No doubt about it. You won.
Hector, can you just run the experiment? Like get a legit list of every single bank in America credit union. No. Not just one, not just while you're here. I'm talking about like legit. I'm not telling you to tell you, to call it well. I'm telling you, get the entire list of every single bank and credit union in America. Then open your own space to go ahead and have it recorded.
When you live in your own head, it's hard to understand anybody else. It's difficult to get somebody else's perspective, especially if you're not. See this right now. This is somebody who's not open-minded, and I don't want to take shots at Hector because he does like honestly he makes like out of all of his like what percentage of his points that can I go ahead and say are good? Maybe like 4% of his points can make you think and say, okay, let me think about this. But the rest of them are just like, I'm going to win, and I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to just repeating myself, or I'm going to bob and weave out of this conversation and just throw shots over there, shots over here, and get off of this topic and get onto my topic.
I don't understand that. Like,
I worked in that industry for 23 years, so I know a little bit more than you. You just have to admit that.
Period. And the fact that like this was a huge conversation with multiple people involved. It was never like Tammy is the sole determinant here. Like, we have collectively all told you the same thing, and the only person who's not able to see the problem with this argument appears to be you. So
only person. Okay, I'm sure there are people in your audience who disagree because they're literally.
Well, they're welcome to grab a mic, but so far no
sure.
one.
And I agree with you. Like, I don't want to keep talking about this. It's just I just find it a little crazy that it's not like it doesn't seem like it's not like more a little more objective than what we're trying to. Like, I literally called people to verify it, and you guys are not in agreeing with what they said because Tammy is disagreeing with what they said.
You know what, Hector? They don't tell you everything, bro. Do you believe everything you hear?
Well, I actually believe what somebody is representing when I'm trying to do business with them.
Do you believe everything you are told? Do you believe everything you're told? That's what I thought.
We should let Seth go ahead.
Hi, Seth. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty great.
I had a meeting. I had to jump and come back because I like the conversation. And I'm not sure what Tommy said, but I used to work for a bank and for Big Tech Corp, and I'm currently doing a startup in Web3, so I can probably provide some input if you guys want to hear about this. And unfortunately, usually I disagree with what Hector says about Bitcoin, and I'm crypto agnostic, just to be honest. So from the banking system for checking account, etc. I think you guys are kind of misunderstanding about credit checks, which is coming from 3 credit bureaus currently, which banks run when you apply for a credit card or a loan. But when you open a checking account, what they really do is KYC, which is Know Your Customer. And these checks will basically US or around.
I mean, it's still
the
going.
world,
You guys,
something
you guys
around
don't hear me?
liquidity. And I think it will stabilize some, at least the coins that the big projects are like Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. And it doesn't have to be like through lending or other things. We need to focus on adaptability, the adoption of the cryptocurrency, because if businesses just to accept cryptocurrencies,
I'm about to lay in. I'm just letting you guys know. See, this is like behind the scenes as David goes ahead and does his research to go ahead and take out somebody's point, but not because I want the win, just because I want the education to be provided. That there's a difference. But I learned through all this shit.
I'm open to any question.
I just posted up an article for you because you stated that, or I think that you stated that your credit isn't touched. There's an article up here that everybody can go ahead and read. I have a credit union, so I'm going to put it out there. I have a credit union that I'm with, and when I opened up the account with this credit union, they pulled all 3 of my bureaus. And they did a hard pull. Forget about even a soft pull.
So
And it wasn't for a credit card.
Okay, so again, and I mean, could be different practices by different banks because they have different risk assessment. But if they do really pull your credit for some reason, you would have to sign a document.
Exactly, and I stated that already. Once you sign, when you come and open up an account, right now, we're talking about right now. I'm not talking about 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Right now, when you sign up and you sign that application and you give that person, that banker, all your information to open up a bank account, you are signing off and stating that they will and can run everything to figure out who the hell you are. Period, set, and done. If there is 1 or 2 people out there, it's in the fine print, but we don't read it. You know it yourself, and it's okay. Like, you want to win. You guys want to win this battle? I have proof. I can go. You know what I'm going to do for everybody? I'm going to pull my credit report. Well, I didn't really open up any bank accounts recently, but I wish I can pull it previously. The last time I opened it up, it was a long time ago. But I wish I can go ahead and pull it up and just mark out my name, obviously, and my information, and just show you the soft inquiries that I got from said banking institutions and even credit unions.
And hey, David, I don't want to speak for you, but by the way, Steph, I think, David was mentioning that article in reflection to the conversation as a whole. Steph, totally not just you. David, obviously, tell me if I'm wrong, but since he said he had missed some earlier conversation, I just wanted to point that out to him. I think that was
for sure. I mean, that article is just up there to let everybody know, like, hey, this is, I mean, that's from a reputable reputable company that's talking about credit right here. So, I mean, it does happen, and this is why DeFi to me is important. Is it there yet? No, but it is a solution to go ahead and help those who can't get an account. That it's really that simple. I don't know why we even we're having this argument, but okay. I mean, it's either we want to win a conversation or we want to educate and teach. So, like, if you're here willing to die on a hill just to go ahead and say I was right, so you can go ahead and have have the Floyd Mayweather winning streak of 50-0, but like you pick and choose your battles, God bless you. I'd rather have the one that Chavez had when he was like 98-0 and taking on anybody that was willing to come his way. And yes, he has some losses under his belt, but those are learning lessons that made him better. But I'd rather have that kind of record than 50-0 and pick and choose my battles. Like, pick and choose Pacquiao when he's almost 50 years old and I'm gonna fight him, like, type of thing. Like, I'm not with those conversations. Those are boring, man.
So David, if I may, so the term DeFi is very generic. And by the way, I used to be a researcher in 2007. doing research on performance analysis of decentralized networks protocols. The more you do DeFi stuff, the more you are adding an overhead on basically verification transaction. And one of the good things, let's talk about good and bad things. The good things about the blockchain transactions is basically you can.
I'm listening to him, but like
anywhere, but
there is nothing that is 100% perfect. So if you want to win on that argument, there is nothing. Cars aren't perfect. Human beings aren't perfect. Nothing is going to ever be perfect. But you can come close to producing a platform that can be perfect. Or not perfect, but better than the ones that we are currently on. It's better than anything that's centralized right now. So like,
but still we need to do more adoption on top of DeFi to basically have some sort of centralization and to protect the customers and basically adhere by the government regulations, because some of them, they, especially like for customers, like if you get the loan for a customer versus a business, it's totally a different thing. I think we're gonna find better solutions that basically use DeFi and kind of CeFi in some term, but DeFi cannot solve everything. I just want to be clear about that. You know,
I never said that DeFi can solve everything, and not in this current state right now. But DeFi is
at least that's what I heard.
no, but everybody can hear what they want to hear. My thing is, at the end of the day, DeFi, you have something that's created. Now, I see DeFi as a solution. Is it there yet? No, it's not. But if we have the brightest minds work on it, it can be the solution that is much needed in other sovereign countries. I know Haley went ahead and said, well, also let's not forget about the United States. And I agree with her, but I'm just looking out for the people in Nigeria, the people in, well, I don't want to say El Salvador right now, but I'll stick to Nigeria. People need it out there. Why not Philippines? People need it in the Philippines. I know this for a fact. I have a good friend who's out there in the Philippines. They need it badly. What's so bad about having or inventing something, putting a protocol together, and hopefully getting, again, the brightest minds to work on it to bring these people a solution to be able to live? What is so fucked up about this narrative?
It's a lot agreed, because a lot of these, if you don't see adoption and a lot of these adoption fail, there is a matter of trust, and until we see like successful projects and successful adoption, we're gonna have to go through this cycle. But I'm telling you that we are trying our best to basically, at least from my side, and the people that we know, is to basically help the DeFi and the ecosystem to basically get adopted.
Great. But that's great. Great. We're all trying to do something to make this industry better. Nothing's going to be perfect. Like nothing's going to be perfect in this space. But you know what? It's better than the shit that we came from. And we have still not gone full blown into it to go ahead and fix the flaws, and we're still not even there yet. That's how early we are. So it's like, yo, relax, chill out. But like, I'm not gonna go back to the topic with Hector, because Hector, he wants to die in a cliff. God bless you, bro. I ain't trying to die in no cliffs. I'm trying to like move on to the next topics. I know, like, my mind could be changed if I'm wrong and there's facts presented. When facts are presented to me, I'm going to take it as like, oh shit, valid points were made. I didn't know this. Good shit. I'm putting this away in my filing cabinet. That's how I'm taking it. I don't take none of the, I never lose a conversation because I learn from them. Like the whole wins and losses shit is so pathetic. Like it really is. Like on any time somebody says win or loss, like that is pathetic. Neither happened. Neither happened. I yield my mic.
David, I'm not trying to win.
You are, Hector. You are. Come on. You're calling banks. You're calling up the banks, man, like you're trying to win.
Isn't that the easiest way to understand where
Pick,
who's right and who's wrong?
but Hector, you know the banks are not going to, they are not transparent at all. They're not going to tell you. Now, a better way would be is, hey, I'm going to walk into a bank right now. I'm going to grab that sheet that I'm going to go ask them for an application, the same application I would use to go ahead and sign up for a bank account, and then read that. That would be a better way to go ahead and figure out exactly how the banks operate. Even even then, maybe they're not even putting it in on the paper. They're just writing in cute legal terms that have you like, okay, I guess this is really nothing, and you don't notice that, like, yo, yes, I am consenting to you to pull everything about me, ask my friends and family about me, and all that good shit. Like these people run a fucking $1 trillion business, man. They know what they're doing, especially after the fucking crash. They know what they're doing.
Would you let someone else take the floor? I think Jeff Zimp has been holding his hand for a while. Thanks, Rob.
I'm good. I mean, I got everything out of me today.
What's going on, David? Hey, David.
What up, Rob?
Alex,
What's
how are
going
you
on?
guys? Everything good, man. Everything good. I wanted to chime in on what Seth was saying. He was saying in his piece earlier about like we need more. They're like, "What's a cool picture?" Like, "Oh, this is cool, whatever." But like, we need more education.
I had to use the restroom. I'm just being flat out honest. I had to go pee.
Let me keep it more simple. Let me backtrack.
I mean, sitting here the entire time drinking water, you're gonna have to go ahead and use the restroom,
And I'm
man.
like, hey, today we're gonna focus on hypertrophy training. Okay, we're gonna do HIIT intervals. We're gonna focus on the resistance, on the negative portion of. You would look at me and be like, "What the hell is this guy talking about?" When I could really just be simple and tell you, "Hey, today we're gonna go to the gym and we're gonna focus on volume. We're gonna do a little 12. We're gonna be in the rep range of 12 to 15. HIIT just basically stands for high interval training, which just basically means that we're gonna start off fast. We're gonna go slow, then start off fast and go slow." Like, that's how you need to break it down to the quote-unquote masses. Like, sure, if you want to just continue to have a space with a bunch of the top 1%ers, then sure, like, you're just going to continue to have what you have, which is, again, excuse my French, bullshit, rug pulls, people losing money. And then what happens is those same people that get rugged, right, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to go back into the real world because you don't live in the metaverse, you live in real life. You're going to go back home and say, "Hey, mom, hey, sister, hey, Uncle Timmy, I just got rugged for $1,000 trying to sell some stupid picture of a monkey." What do you think is going to, like, Dave, what do you think about that, man? I'm sorry, I don't want to go on a tangent, but it frustrates me,
Yeah, I missed the first half, and I'm so sorry, Rob. I'm gonna tell you the truth right now because I said it because I'm live streaming this entire thing. I'm doing this right now. I really, really had to go to the restroom because I drank so much water, like literally, and I was sitting here and I was like, yo, I didn't have an opportunity to. I'm just being super honest with you. If you could repeat it and cliff note it, I will be. I heard Solana.
For sure. Yeah, I can cliff note.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It was in
Because I didn't want to pee on myself live on live stream.
No, it's all good, brother. No,
was just in context to the conversation that Seth was having about we need more education and leaders, which I think we do. And I was just basically saying how like the current system that we have is that you have basically just a bunch of trolls hiding behind these pictures of monkeys, and they're like, you know, we were yelling, oh, we gotta adapt the masses, but it's like when you come into these spaces, all they do is just troll you. They tell you that you don't know shit because you don't have a $50,000 picture of a monkey. And it's like, and then when the masses do come in, aka someone like myself, you know, you get rugged a couple times, and when you go back home, like, what do you think you're going to tell people? You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to tell people I had a great experience flipping a picture of a monkey. You're going to be frustrated. And then the last thing that I also said, David, was I referenced how people it would be more beneficial. We kept it simple. And then I used the example of, you know, when I'm in the gym as a fitness coach, you know, like it would be, I could easily go there and try to show off and say, hey, you know, say all these fancy buzzwords like, oh, we're going to do hypertrophy and HIIT training, when in reality, you could just simplify and tell somebody, hey, today we're going to work out for an hour. We're going to focus on volume work, okay? Hypertrophy is just a fancy word for we're going to focus on making sure that you can feel it instead of moving the weight. So we're going to do 12 to 15 reps. We're going to train 40. Like, instead of giving people the process, it's like people have to come into this and like, I don't know, man. It's just, anyways.
I feel you, man. I get it. Like, first of all, anybody who has a Bored Ape in their PFP doesn't make them a fucking economic. Fuck, I can't even. My vocabulary's done. Shout outs to everybody over here that I'm answering. But it doesn't make you a professor or anything, man. Like, you just fell into it. You fell into it, or you bought it at 50, you bought it at 60 ETH, and you're doing it like listen, personally, I only have a Bored Ape, like I said multiple times, due to the networking aspects of having a Bored Ape, but it doesn't make me any smarter than anybody else. A blue check mark doesn't make you smarter than anybody else. Your following count doesn't make you smarter than anybody else. The conversations that you have in here could potentially level you up to where you have insights to go ahead and pass along to somebody else. But you need to make sure that, like, you're not coming in here to win. Hector, don't feel like that's a shot at you. I'm generalizing it. Win or lose, I don't think anybody loses. You learn, and learning is essential because you go back and you write down the things that were of interest, and you take a deep dive into it, research it, and you come back the next day, like, either you have something to go ahead and, you know, talk about, or you say, you know what, I learned something. Winning, I don't see winning here, man. Winning sucks. Like, when you come into these rooms and people just want to win the conversation, well, what are you really winning though? Like, you're not being open-minded to others that are speaking in the room. So yeah, I can see people leaving, you know, a room that they go into and being like, yo, fuck this entire space, because it's all bullshit and it's a bunch of people sitting in a room and it's an echo chamber, and like, it's a fucking kumbaya session and everybody's holding everybody's third leg. So fuck that. And I get you from your standpoint in terms of being a trainer. You can go ahead and listen, you can take a client and you can go ahead and just do like 5 or 6 more sets than he can, and, like, you know, show off that you have the ability to do so, but that doesn't really do anything for the client, does it? The client doesn't achieve anything. The client isn't getting ripped. The client isn't motivated to do anything else after the fact. Like that, and that's probably a very good analogy for everybody in here. Like, I want to learn. Like, I come in here like to learn things still. Like, I want to continue to learn and be open-minded to shit. So I'm willing to bring up people with different opinions up here to chat. But there is something to go. There is something where, like, when 1,000 people are telling you the same shit, maybe, just maybe, it's time to sit back and say, you know what? I am not going to engage in this argument, nor am I going to try to get out of it and bob and weave. I'm going to accept it. I'll write it down. Let me go ahead and do my own research, and then I'll come back in a few days with what I found. And if I found nothing, maybe I'll come back to the room and say, you know what, guys, I'm going to just do this. I'm not taking an L. I've learned a lesson, because then there's other people in this room that, Hector, there's other people in this room that might listen to every single word that you say. And right now, like what you're saying about the banks not doing like background checks or anything like that, yo, people might be saying like, holy shit, like Hector's right. These people are wrong. Hector's right. And then like they end up they end up in that situation where they go ahead and try to open up a bank account and they're like, but Hector told me there's no soft pulls. Hector, god damn you. It's just one of those things, man. Just be open minded. And hopefully I answered or kind of answered your question, Rob.
And dramatics aside, you guys both made a great example. And not only does it not do any justice or help to put people in that situation by, just one-upping them, but let's take it a step further. You can
One-upping somebody,
right? And we've got to think about that. We've got
does
to be
nothing.
more learner-centric.
You lose people.
It's not from a just preaching to people, telling them why they're wrong and what it is, but meeting them where they are so that we can help build them up to our level of knowledge or to our level of fitness or to our level of whatever you're doing or teaching, so that we can meet people where they are and help them grow.
Iron Whale, I think your hand is
I never want to win an argument.
Go ahead and then
I want to be able to allow somebody to see my point of view. And if there's something within that can be changed or stated to me that it's wrong with factual information, I'm all about that life.
From Kansas, from a son that says that if I claim to be a wise man, it surely means that I don't know. I've learned a lot in these spaces, and actually, I want to keep learning as much as I can. And guys, everything is so globalized now that it's like some people say, for example, I can put an example to Hector because I was listening, and the banks in my country said for a long time that they weren't doing checking on credit records because they didn't need to do that to open an account. There was this system that.
By the way, if you guys want to tune in to the current chat, it's called The Breakdown, episode 31. It's in my bio. It's in my profile. It's on Gokhshtein Media, at Gokhshtein Media, at David Gokhshtein. You can hit on the link. If you're at work right now, you can always, it's recorded, so you can hit the replay button afterwards. If you have time, you can go ahead and click on the link and listen to it on the internet. Obviously, I'm on here just to go ahead and just, break down a few of these conversations on here. But you're more than welcome to go ahead and join into the conversation. Everybody's welcome, regardless of where you stand in terms of whether you're a maxi for a certain project or you just want to go ahead and bring alpha. By the way, I just want to update everybody. The show runs from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called The Breakdown, hosted by me and Haley Davis. We touch on everything within the space, crypto, NFTs, Web3 in general. We're all about that. And obviously, we have one subject that we touch on. Today, we're just unable to move in that direction because we're stuck on this one topic about credit checks happening with the banking system. Also, tonight at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Gokhshtein Unfiltered, I did interview Tone Bays. And I want to say interviewed, I just had a conversation, which I do with all my guests, where we sit back and we talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Web3, NFTs, and all that good stuff. You'll get to hear it, his opinions on Richard Hart, and we just go back and forth and we talk about that. Also, want to mention that the ETH Hackathon is happening on August 8th. Oh, excuse me. Hold on. Let me see if I'm right on that. It is happening on August 8th, correct? ETH Hackathon, August 8th in Canada. And also Blockchain Futurist, which is going down on the 9th and 10th in Toronto, Canada. Oh, Canada. Absolutely. So make sure if you're in Canada and you're close to it over there by Toronto, that you're out there and participating. A lot of good people are going to be speaking, so go check it out.
And I think that I really appreciated what David said about,
Elisa is
a media company,
she
being the host and being the teacher, but also being a consummate student.
she's
We're
like
all eternal students.
she
And
can't even breathe right
a
now
lot of
because
times we feel like
she took my advice, went to the gym.
we're
This is what we're talking about.
feel like the expert.
People getting off their chairs
I
and
have to tell you, having just done like quite a bit of the speaker circuit on, NFTLA and comic and
I wonder if it's Elisa or Elisa.
he's notable.
Did I just say the same
They're really
thing?
looking at how do we leverage Web3
I like what she's bringing in here about the movie industry, how the movie industry can go ahead and use the technology that we have in this space to benefit themselves.
It really takes having more questions asked because the way that we hold control and gatekeep is to make it impossible for people to learn. And all of this language that we're using.
I see you, Dylan. I see you out here, man.
You can I don't want to
It's definitely not that
steal the
funny.
mic. I really appreciate the space. I'm going to go back to listening, but just wanted to encourage the audience to like really ask those questions.
Yeah, I love what she said. She said that usually the smartest people in the room have absolutely no clue what they're doing. I love that. And it's the truth. Sometimes the smartest people in the room don't know what the fuck they're saying. It's not good for you, man. You get nowhere with it, man. I honestly, I think everybody should have the Michael Jordan Kobe complex. And that is like, yo, I'm going to do everything to both be a great offensive player and a great defensive player. So I know everything. I know everything going in. Like, not just like, yo, I'm just going to make sure that I'm really great with the offense. And then what I mean by that is I'm really great with throwing something out there and then running. Because I really don't have anything to go ahead and come back with. Anyway, I appreciate everybody in here. We're going to run the room until 1 o'clock, and then we'll close it up. 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Is literally the set time, but obviously we do overtime because we do appreciate everybody that comes in here and chimes in. Unfortunately, obviously this conversation got stuck on the banking system and credit checks and, DNA samples and whatnot, and people calling the banks and verifications going on here. I felt like either I was opening up a bank account or I was about to go ahead and get another mortgage taken out to go ahead and purchase a house or some shit. But hopefully moving back into the direction of Bitcoin and, maybe ending the Understanding Bitcoin Part 3 topic, maybe, just maybe ending it and then moving on. Does anybody want to touch on that? Or do we close it off and then we just move on in general to like NFT talk about the Bored Apes, talk about their new hire, Illa. Shout outs to Illa. Ill got hired to, I forgot his title, but shout outs to him like for joining the Yuga Labs. I think he's representing brand building or something like that. But good for him. Good for Yuga Labs for bringing him in. But
It's something like Director of Vibes and Community. It's a really dope title.
There's a new
and speak to them in a polite way. I don't know, man. Like what you were saying was just right. Like, and they didn't act like they didn't give a shit, and it was kind of crazy that like that pushes people away. And like these spaces, when you have real conversations, is what drives people to listen. So I just commend you again.
Thanks again. I'll say this: their whole approach of the thing that struck me was, I don't give a shit if people get into Bitcoin or not. Well, hold on. You don't give a shit if people get into Bitcoin or not, but then you're getting super upset when people get into these meme tokens or the shit coins that you call them. You get upset and you're like, why aren't they getting into Bitcoin? Well, but it's because of you, asshole, that they're not getting into Bitcoin because you're a complete dickhead.
A lot of people that I know, and they're going to learn what's the right and wrong thing. And honestly, if you keep shitting on all these meme coins and all these tokens that are cryptocurrency other than Bitcoin, like you're just hindering the ability to bring more people into the DeFi space and cryptocurrency in general and blockchain. So like open flood the doorways and let people learn. And the biggest thing that you guys are talking about is you have to have education. And if you can have like these Twitter spaces are just going to get bigger and bigger, and this is where we capitalize as a community and we police ourselves and we make sure that we educate the people the right way. So like education is key.
For sure, Dylan.
But you can't educate people unless you get them involved in the first place, whether that's through a crap coin or not. It doesn't matter. At least they're looking, and that's the point,
Listen, tech is ever evolving. So like at the end of the day, in 10 years, like I always say, poop coin can be turn out to be the global currency of the entire world. So fuck. If we don't change it around in 5 years, I will stand by it. It will be looked at, if it isn't already, but it will be looked at as old finance, and people will find something else to get into.
only because we have 5% adoption around the world. Wait till we have 10% and 20%.
For sure.
And the next 2 generations away from us are currently using Bitcoin and only Bitcoin. Like it's gonna just get bigger and bigger, in my opinion.
Going on, man? Can you confirm to me like what these motherfuckers are saying in this room right now?
Hey, if you need me to do the link, I will go open the account just to set this.
But it's not about you.
I don't know.
It's about people living in the Philippines. It's about people living in Nigeria. Like, no, but hold on. No. No. Hold on. You're not gonna get away with that. And it's also for people that do live in the United States of America that can't open accounts. Like, they have an extremely hard time to open up an account. Like this DeFi thing can actually work, man. Literally, you get a bunch of italics together, and I promise you can go ahead and make this shit work.
No, but you can't. Like, there's zero auto loans, zero mortgages on this thing right now. Like, it can't do it because it can't assess risk on the underside.
And who says that the current system can assess risk?
It has, because it's
Yeah, they've done a real good job assessing risk.
They have. That's what they.
Yo, really? They've done a real good job assessing risk? Oh my god.
They haven't.
I'm doing this to myself. I'm doing this to myself. I'm torturing myself.
So what is
By the way, I want to show you guys. This is my baby picture. My baby picture. This is my fault. This is completely my fault. I should have never gone back to Hector. Never. Because he's just sitting there like, I am not going to lose. This is Hector right now. I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to lose.
Based off it. So you can say like, well, right now, but right now is like let's say right now we're using the Howey test from 19.
Shout out to everybody who tuned in and has been watching the live stream. I appreciate you guys. Back at it tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And if overtime hits, overtime hits. But hopefully you learned something from these conversations. I hope that you guys have been noting stuff down and taking something away with it. I'm so focused now. Like I am so focused on delivering education. Like I feel like I've already given everything that I could to this entire space. But now I am just like, I'm trying to take it to the next level, a level that I've never been at. And I'm going to do that. And I'm going to make sure that I can be a part of a team that makes a difference. Like it's here, it's right. It's like you can't fake this. Like you can't fake the passion.
In countries like in
6 minutes left before I close out the chat.
based around your device usage on your phone because there's no other credit system out there, so they determine what's on your phone, electricity on your phone, like ability to recharge your phone, stuff like that. Determine
It's crazy.
So
He will not. He will not.
what we use is credit history.
He cannot. He cannot lose.
Determines your future.
He can't.
With future lenders. So
It's hard for him to comprehend. I think it's either it's hard for him to comprehend or he just doesn't want to comprehend. He doesn't care. Because at the end of the day, like there's people that just want to hear their voices heard and they have their narratives, and you're just not going to slide them out of it. Hector gets his information from the under cap of a Snapple bottle, or the cap from a Snapple bottle. It's like cool fact. I get all my facts from a Snapple bottle. That's all I gotta say. All I gotta say is I get all my facts from a Snapple bottle. That's how I feel Hector is. Like again, this is not. I'm not gonna bash Hector as a human being. I don't know him, but from the stuff that he puts out there, Snapple bottle facts. What? What is it? What is he saying?
no idea who he is because he has no ability to provide assets. Because
What are you saying?
That's even a bigger black box than someone you're trying to figure out whether or not they can pay you back today with a traditional job and stuff like that. So I don't understand how DeFi beats that.
No, but it wouldn't be like a bank. But again, I don't have the, but I also don't have, hold on, Hector, but I also, unlike you, I also don't have all the answers for you today, but I will gladly have something written out tomorrow.
Sure, and that's fine. If you believe it, like you may not understand, like or don't agree or don't have a position today. That's I find that to be more like I
Because there's effectively the model you take the DeFi model and you just implement some of the things you currently have in the centralized world into the DeFi model, and it works. It works. Like, and no, you can't be turned down. Like, there, a model that is set up to where you cannot be turned down. Well, why would you? Well, let me ask you a question. Why? And like, we brought up the whole credit situation, right? I don't believe that people should not be able to open up an account due to something that happened 15 years ago. That already eliminates that. I don't believe that a lot of people just can't get a bank account. It would, and a lot of people don't even have history of having a bank account. So right then and there, it just opens them up to having the ability to be banked.
Let's say ETH gives you the ability to open an account, put your assets on there, and hold it. Right? Let's say that's the case. But now.
But I don't want no. But I don't want a bank holding my assets. We've.
You're saying this is a better case. You're saying the better case is to have ETH or have some address.
How did Celsius work out?
No, I agree with you. I'm not arguing. I'm not advocating for that.
So like, we want something to where like, no, I control my collateral. Like, but again, this is what I was talking about earlier. It's about building. We now have DeFi, which I think is a really good thing for the space. It's now figuring out the proper mechanics for it to work in every market, whether it's bear, bull. It's just like it needs to be able to work, and the brightest minds in this space need to go ahead and hammer away at it. I don't code. I know the words, I know basics, but I can never come up with something. In terms of building it, I can come up with an idea, but I could never build it out.
What I'm saying is, like, let's agree that do KYC. I have to do KYC now as a person. How do I do that? And like, there's no really good responses to how DeFi solves this. It does this better than just going to a bank as a user. Like, why wouldn't I just go to a bank and the bank like, oh yeah, I can assess your risk much better than these random people on the internet, and I can take a flyer on you more likely because I'm a bigger institution that has more capital, bigger margin of error than some individual on the internet.
The banking system and the centralized world show us that they have no idea what risk management is. Period. Like, to make a case and say that they know how to go ahead and identify a risk is such bullshit. Like, they will literally turn down people who have an excellent, I'll put it this way. They will turn down people who have excellent income. You talked about this earlier, for some foreign person coming from some country into the United States of America and getting a bank account. Okay, cool. You have some person that has lived in, let's say, Canada for the last 20 since they were born. They're 25 years old. They've lived there, have a great salary. Now they're moving over to the United States of America. They're waiting to go ahead and get their social security card and all that stuff, but they need a card. They need all these things to be able to work. They've come over to now build their life here in the United States of America. Do you know how hard it is for them to get a car, even if it's $15,000? brand new car, if there is such a thing as a $15,000 brand new car, I know inflation and I know the dealers are just stacking, $10,000 on top of MSRP prices. But let's say the car costs $25,000 brand new. You know how hard it is for somebody to get a car? There are some companies that offer foreign exchange programs that allow somebody to get into a vehicle, but it's at an 80% LTV versus the 125 to 130% that are being lent out to other people. They have to go through hoops and circles to go ahead and attempt, it's not a guarantee, attempt to get this vehicle. But they're perfect. They have a letter from JP Morgan. They have letters, references, everybody vouching for them. But the so-called risk management is saying they're a risk. You tell me how this system actually works.
Well, it does because you have a lot of people under loan debt. You have a lot of people under
$200,000, Hector, $200,000 a year guaranteed salary for the next 3 years. People that are references, JP Morgan, the company, a company that's been around forever, and they are also going to college, paid, going to college, a good college too, not getting approved for a $25,000 vehicle. You explain to me what is the risk if they are putting down 50% of that vehicles. If they put down 50% towards the vehicle, there is no risk because if they walk away in 3 months, the bank still wins.
Sure, and I just like this. I don't like.
Hector, this is one thing that I know, tit for tat. This is their risk management is the reason why we're here.
I know, but I can't take your word for this. It's one example that you know.
No, but I'm telling you, it's 15 years of seeing it. It's not one time. It wasn't a one-time incident.
If it's 15 years, then how do you explain
Bro, Hector, you ready for this one? If your name is not Smith, you're not getting approved. How about that?
But I've been approved. My name's not Smith.
I'm telling you right now, if your name is not Smith, you're not getting a loan. You're less likely to get a loan. Okay, and I never touch upon those type of subjects, but you're less likely to get approved.
I don't believe that's the case.
Oh, really? Oh, trust me.
Just because you're the exception doesn't mean that it is. When you're saying people could, yes, they could in theory.
And I said what I said because it's the truth, and it's not a racial. I'm not trying to be I'm the furthest. Look at my last name. At the end of the day, it is what it is. It is what it is. So you're talking about risk management with these people. Are you kidding me? You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. There are people that are willing to talk about these subjects and have the balls to do so. And there are people that put their tails between their asses because they want to be PC, because they want to go ahead and get along with everybody. That's the problem. This current society is that nobody's willing to go ahead and speak the way we spoke back 20 years ago.
There were people out of work, college people were graduating, they were massively in debt. This is what happens because guess what? Of bad loans being given in a system.
2017. Excuse me, 2007. How many loans were given out to people that did not deserve a loan? How many? How many people have houses and mortgages on a $20,000 a year salary?
Yes, there's a better option out there.
the credit system is a better option. You can't go get under collateralized loans anywhere else.
All right, hold up real quick, guys. I'm sorry, Haley. I just wanted to say that DeFi Dan's been holding his hand for the last 3 years. James as well, and then Shah, and then let's go ahead and end it here, just because we went overtime, and I'll run it. I mean, me and Haley are tired, man. You guys need to go ahead and send us some thank you cards and some shit. But we'll run until 1:30 and then we'll end it. All right. So we'll you know what? After these three people speak, we'll go ahead and end it. But 1:30 is the cutoff, man, because we got work to do. What's up, DeFi Dan?
Hey, David. Hey, Haley. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing okay.
How's your arm, man?
The arm is, I switched arms, so I'm okay. I'm like, I kind of balance myself. I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for asking. Hope you guys are doing okay. And I hate that I always speak at the end of the call. It kind of sucks, but that's okay. I was throwing some flow here, some workflow on this DeFi. And I agree 100% on the Hector. You're probably going to kick me out of the room now, but I do agree in the technical aspect that DeFi is not solving they what would be the magic aspect of DeFi, basically
DeFi Dan, why? No, I'm kidding.
how do I get them? Right now, there's nothing like that. There's been a few projects that tried it last 2 years, can't remember, but it's so volatile that it really doesn't work that well. But I think, so in that aspect, Hector is correct. I agree 100% with him. But we got to look past that, right? Okay, that's the problem. How do we solve it? Because we're not just going to say, oh, okay, that's the problem. We're never going to do it. That's it. And I think there's some mechanisms that are actually in the scope of, let's call it the roadmap.
Again, blockchain futurists, Toronto, Canada, August 9th to 10th. Make sure you tune in. If you're out there, go to the event, have some fun. There's a lot of people that are going to be there from the blockchain industry that I'm pretty sure that you guys will be stoked to see. Vitalik, obviously, one of the founders and the creators of Ethereum will be there speaking. And there will be a hackathon August 8th as well. So you can go ahead and show face there as well if you're interested. But yeah, I think it's going to be a hell of an event. They've always put on a great event, so definitely check them out. Again, I'll repeat at 5 p.m. tonight, Eastern Standard Time, Gokshin Unfiltered, where I have a conversation with Tone Vase about Bitcoin, Ethereum, NFTs. We talk about Hex and Richard Hart. I have obviously a difference of opinion with Tone, but I think we met in the middle on it, and you could check that out. And what else is there? I'm trying to think. Tune into Gokshin Media, man. Like literally support Gokshin Media. Like we are working night and day 24/7 to go ahead and provide you guys with content. Check out the late night news at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as Akil Patterson and Joe Cortez will be delivering the latest trending news in the crypto and Web3 space. Yeah, Dylan, with that event, will it be on live, like a live stream? Yes, I believe that will be live streaming the event. So I'll try to get a link out there. I don't have the link currently, but I'll try to send everybody. I'll try to put it out on my personal Twitter so everybody can go and look at the event in general. There's a lot of events happening, but I'm focused on the big events more so than the little meetups. Little meetups to me are like echo chambers.
and I was told in Mexico.
Australia shot. Oh, I thought I was live on the breakdown episode 31. By the way, I am just live streaming myself. I have obviously the crypto market numbers up here. I just want you guys to see my reaction, see me live, because sometimes, it's nice to go ahead and go onto Twitter Spaces, but you don't see a person's expressions, and sometimes you want to go ahead and see it. And also, I feel like sometimes cutting out of here and just talking to you, the individual, about Bitcoin or whatever topic is at hand right now. Australia, shout out to Australia, man. Shout out to you guys, man. What time is it over there?
Pretty good. We're doing it.
I appreciate the opportunity. I just wanted to chime in on this. It's actually again, I kind of came in toward when the topic kind of veered, and it's something I'm actually very passionate about. I just wanted to try to see if I can sum some things up for a minute to try to give some examples, Hector and some of the people. First and foremost, I mean, I really don't even understand how this is an argument, but the banking system is the ultimate, whatever words you want to use, right? The ultimate scam, the ultimate Ponzi scheme, the ultimate everything. It's a fact, they're crooks. They take pennies and dollars from everybody, every chance they get of money that's not theirs. They have no right to, but they do it. That's how the entire banking system has become the powerhouse that they have, stealing from its people. Those are just facts. You can go look it up. The other fact is that it's broken. That's a fact. Yes, people slip through the cracks. Yes, people take advantage of that system, and they're able to not take advantage like in a bad way, but take advantage of the system, come out unscathed. An example that I want to give real quick, there's a county in the state of Texas that is known as one of the crookedest county in the states, and also known as one of the most crookedest counties in this entire country.
3:16 a.m. Dylan, shout out. Tell me who you are. DM me, bro, so I can follow you, man. Because that's dedication. Listening. First of all, I'm honored to have you following and literally listening to these conversations. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Like I said, and I like the content that I'll be putting out. I'm generally doing this for the people, man. I have no other reason. I don't need this. I really don't need to do this. I can be on my way, doing other stuff, but this is my passion. My passion is adoption, and I hope that I can be a part of the movement where everybody has that type of mindset to go ahead and take this industry to the next level. And it's there. People are looking into it. People are getting into it. You got big names getting into it. It's a beautiful thing, man. So thank you again. Being up at 3:16 a.m. in Sydney, that's an honor, man.
If you can't bring in that kind of money for them, then that's when you go to jail, because they put you in the jail, then they can make money off of you. The banking system does this exact same thing. They have people that they let come through because they have to have the numbers, right? You got to give women loans. You got to give minorities loans. You got to give foreigners loans. There's numbers they have to meet. They also, trust me, when they look at it, they're not taking the risk that you guys think they are. There's a lot more that they see of ways that they can use you and make money off of you or drag it out on you than you think they do. And it's just like the way that they entice people. Like one thing I've never been, and I'm no offense to anybody, but one thing I've never been able to understand is a $750 a month car payment. Never.
All right, listen. Now Dylan's like, yo, hate to shit on your parade, but I was only staying up to go ahead and listen in on this other meeting and stuff. It's all good. Still, it's an honor to be speaking to you.
Now, that's why we came out with DeFi. That's why so many people are passionate with DeFi. Do we have the answer yet? No. This is brand new. That's the whole point, is to build the answer. Just like, it's kind of like this. If you get a company, which do you think is easier? You to inherit a company of 10,000 employees that you have got to completely retrain how to work this job and do this thing, or to just go get a whole new 10,000 employees out of college? The answer is go get the new 10,000 employees out of college, not try to retrain 10,000 employees. And you want to know how we know that that's the answer? Because the system uses that. The
corporations use that. Look at the difference in the last 25 years of business. When my grandmother, may she rest in peace, got a job at a place where she filled in envelopes. She was, worked at a desk, and she put stuff in envelopes and pushed around some papers and stuff, all the way up to a massive position. You can't do that stuff anymore, hardly, because corporations want young minds out of college that they can mold to do their bidding their way. That's how the system works. That's how the system is designed, and it's only meant to benefit certain people. You think that you can benefit off of it, but you can only benefit certain people. It can only benefit certain people. One thing that also shows that, do you know how much easier it is for, and I have no problem with anybody coming to America and doing it, right? But do you have how much easier it is for a foreign person to come to this country and get a business loan than an actual citizen? It's a lot harder for an actual citizen to get a loan. I mean, that's just how it is. It's all designed for one. All right. On this note, I want to say thank you very much for tuning in to the live stream. I really appreciate it. We'll be doing this. I'm going to try to do this daily. Again, shout outs to Gokhshtein Media, the Gokhshtein Media team. They work their asses off to go ahead and produce some incredible educational material for you guys. GokhshteinMedia.com, Twitter at Gokhshtein Media. Instagram at Gokhshtein Media. You can follow me at David Gokhshtein on everything, basically. And I'm verified, so I will never DM you first. I will never ask you for money. I don't need your money. I don't want your money. So anybody DMing you pretending to be me, disregard it. I'm verified. I will make sure that if you're trying to reach out to me, that you see the verified badge on all the social media platforms. And on that note, I hope everybody has a great day. I was about to say a kills line and say and an even better tomorrow, but I'm gonna go with I hope that you have I hope that you have a great day, and I really do hope that you take it upon yourself to educate yourself and not have somebody educate you. You can take people's opinions and you can put it onto a paper, but ultimately it's up to you to go ahead and do that research. It's critical. It's critical if you do want to go ahead and be successful within this industry, whether it's making gains or whether it's working for somebody or a protocol within the space. And on that note, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate you. I'm out.